Hi everyone and welcome to YCamp. My name's Emily and I'm here at YMCA Camp Chief Hector in the Canadian Rockies of Alberta. First of all, Camp Chief Hector would like to acknowledge the oral practices and traditions of the Blackfoot Nation, which include the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai. We'd also like to acknowledge the Tsuut'ina and the Stoney Nakoda First Nations, the Métis Nation, Region 3, and everyone else that makes their home here in Treaty 7 of Southern Alberta. Today we are going to be learning about the honorable harvest, and then we're going to be making a salt dough necklace with a bit of an earthy twist on it. For this craft, you will need a cup of flour, half a cup of salt, and half a cup of water, a bowl to mix it all together, a rolling pin, and then some kind of cookie cutter. So you can use a cup, or if you've got something that's square-shaped, whatever works for you. Lastly, you might need to ask for a little bit of help from a parent or a guardian because we will have to bake our salt dough necklaces to finish them off. But before we get started, let's sing a song. If you know the words, sing along with me. Ho, ho, mama bear, ho, ho. This space is yours, I know, I know. Let's celebrate this sacred space, but I don't want to see your beautiful face. Hey, hey, Papa Cougar, hey. The people are coming, so you better run away. They just want a place to play. Hey, hey, Papa Cougar, hey. Aye, aye, baby eagle, aye. Spread your wings and fly. Spread your wings, they'll carry you high. Aye, aye, baby eagle, aye. Hoo, hoo, wise owl, hoo, hoo. It'd be smart to listen to you. Mother Nature knows a heart that's true. Hoo, hoo, wise owl, hoo, hoo. Hoo, hoo. Awesome. Let's go learn about the honorable harvest. Oh, hey everyone. Let's chat about the honorable harvest. So the honorable harvest is a set of Indigenous principles, kind of a set of rules that sort of govern how we take from the earth so that it stays sustainable and remains rich and has everything that we have for future generations to come. And we think that the honorable harvest is pretty important. It's an ancient practice as well as a pretty urgent one in our regular day. We all know about sustainability and we want to make sure that Mother Earth is around for many generations to come. Now, of the honorable harvest, there are a couple rules that we can talk about. So the first one is that you never take the first and you never take the last. So what that means is if you're walking through the forest and you come across a raspberry bush, maybe you don't take raspberries from the very first bush. Maybe you keep walking a little bit further to see if you can find a second one. Next, you want to harvest in a way that minimizes harm. So what that means is if you are taking from that raspberry bush, you're not picking the whole bush out of the ground. Hi everyone, let's talk about the honorable harvest. So the honorable harvest is a set of Indigenous principles or rules that can govern the exchange of life for a life. These rules sort of govern how we take from the world so that it remains rich and abundant for future generations to come. And the honorable harvest is an ancient practice used by Indigenous peoples, and we want to make sure that we are following with those principles because sustainability is also very important in our modern day. So of the honorable harvest, there are a couple rules or these guidelines that we can talk about that make sure you are being sustainable with Mother Earth and can be used in every interaction you have with nature or our Earth. So first of all, we want to make sure that we're harvesting in a way that causes as little harm as possible. So what that means is if you're walking through the forest and you come across a raspberry bush, making sure that you're not picking the whole raspberry bush out by its roots, you want to just take one raspberry at a time. Next, you want to make sure you're never taking the first and you're never taking the last. If you're taking the first raspberry bush that you see, maybe there aren't any more raspberries and these are the only ones in the forest. So making sure that you are being weary of where you are on your trail and making sure you're not taking the first and walking a little bit further, hopefully to find some more raspberries. Next, you want to take only what you need and leave some for others. So that's pretty self-explanatory. You want to make sure that other people can enjoy those raspberries or other animals. Next, you want to use everything you take. Mother Earth and this raspberry bush are giving you their fruit and sharing with you, so making sure you're not wasting any. Next, you want to share it as Mother Earth has shared with you. So if you're taking raspberries, maybe when you go home, you're making a jam to share with your family or your friends or your neighbors. Be grateful. Give thanks. At a lot of camps, we always give a meal start song or a song of thanks before every meal. Maybe you can say thank you to that raspberry bush as you're taking raspberries. Reciprocate the gift. So if you're taking something, maybe that means you're also planting something, checking with local areas, or even just something in your backyard, planting some seeds for some new flowers or some new plants. Maybe you're watering some plants in your backyard or at your local community park. And lastly, you want to sustain the ones who sustain you, and the earth will last forever. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that everything we have for us will be around for generations to come. So now that we've talked about the honorable harvest, maybe you can think about ways you can uphold these rules or guidelines of the honorable harvest in your backyard, at your local park, or even at your own camp. All right, let's go make our salt dough necklace. I've got my medium-sized bowl and I've already put my flour and my salt into it. So that's 1 cup of flour and half a cup of salt. I've got my water that I need to put into it, and this is going to double as my rolling pin because I don't have one. I've got some markers so we can color in our salt dough necklaces. If you've got paint at home, that also works. I've got a cup for my cookie cutter, so that's going to be the shape of my pendant. I've got a string to tie my pendant on, and then just a little piece of wood to make a circle in my pendant so that I can pull the string through. Perfect. So, let's get started. I've got my half a cup of salt and cup of all-purpose flour in here. And now with my water, I am just gonna pour a little bit in at a time. It's always easier to add more than it is to take some away. So, yeah, we'll start out just pouring a little bit in. And I've got my spoon. I'm just gonna start mixing it together. Still pretty dry. I think we need a little bit more water. So just slowly adding it in bit by bit so that you can really control the amount that goes in. So while I'm stirring, maybe we can think about what we want to decorate our salt dough pendant with. I've seen some that have Mother Earth on it, some that have a tree. Maybe you can draw your favorite animal on it. Whatever your heart's desire. All right, starting to look good here. So you'll know when your dough is ready is when it's no longer sticky. So if you're using your hands to mix it together and you notice that bits are still coming off, then not ready yet. Mix it a little bit more. All right. Let's see. That looks pretty good, not too sticky. I might add just a little bit more water, just a touch. do some more mixing. Oh yeah, this is looking good now. I'll show you once I'm done mixing it up. Nice. Perfect. Okay. So, this is what mine looks like. And I'm going to pull it out and put it on my plate so that I can have a nice even surface to mix it around with. Oh yeah, that feels good. So, taking my dough and just placing it on your plate. They say you can put a little bit of flour down so it doesn't stick too much to the surface. Perfect. And then with your rolling pin, you're just going to roll it out, flatten it out. And you don't want it to be too thick, maybe about 1/4 of an inch, or maybe you do want it really thick. It's all about your pendant, what you want it to look like. All right. And I don't have a rolling pin, so I'm just using my Nalgene bottle. You can get creative at home too if you don't have something. Like I'm using a cup for my cookie cutter, or maybe you do have cookie cutters and you want to use that to make a shape. It's all up to you. It's your craft, your design. Perfect. All right, looking good. So, I don't know if you can see how thick, but mine isn't too thick. It's not too thin. And then we're just going to take our cookie cutters and squeeze it in there. Maybe I'll try to fit in 4 here. So once we've cut out our shapes, I've got my circles here. I'm going to take my little stick and just make a small circle, not too close to the edge and not too close to the middle. And that will be the hole that our string will fit through. We want to do this before it bakes, or else it's going to be tricky to try to make that hole after they've hardened. So I've made my holes. I've got my shapes. I'm going to transfer them onto a cooking sheet, and this is where you might need a little bit of help from a parent or a guardian, and we're going to put them in the oven at 250 degrees for 2 hours. So you want to line your cooking tray with a bit of parchment, put them in there, and then just wait. If you don't want to use the oven, there also is an option. You can let them stay out in a sunny spot, and that will dry out and become hard, but that takes about 2 days. So if we want to speed up the process, we'll put them in the oven, and once they come out hard, we'll be able to decorate. All right, now that we've finished baking our salt dough necklaces, we want to make sure they cool completely before we start decorating them. On mine, I think I am going to draw a flower for my first one, because I think flowers are a great gift from nature, and Alberta has a lot of beautiful wildflowers that we get to look at every single day. And if you want to do something to do with the honorable harvest, maybe you want to write "Be Grateful" or "Never take the first, never take the last." It's whatever you want. It's your design. It's something that's supposed to make you think about Mother Earth and our natural environment. So as I'm drawing on mine, you could be painting on yours, you could be coloring with your own markers, whatever works for you. And if you would like to work towards earning a virtual YCamp certificate, then you can go to ymcahome.ca/YCamp, and you fill out a little bit of information, take a picture of your craft, and then tell us how you did with the activity. All right, finishing off some petals here. Awesome. So I've just got a little flower. I also did one earlier that has a tree on it. So now we're going to take our string, and I made a little loop at the end, and I'm going to use that to push through the hole we made. So then you've got our loop on one side, and we'll take the rest of the string and pull it through, just so it lies flat when you're wearing it. Awesome. Looking great. And then you can tie up the end however you want, just a nice easy overhand knot. Here's one that I made earlier of a tree, and there you go. You've got your salt dough necklace that you can wear and be reminded of the honorable harvest and our Mother Earth. If you're enjoying YCamp, be sure to subscribe online, and please consider making a small donation to support your local YMCA summer camp. Thanks for joining me, and have a great day.